Greetings, YouTube. I apologize to those of you who asked me to make this video a week ago, and I said I would try to get to it soon. Soon meant 7-8 days. I am traveling out of town for the day today, though, so I'm making sure that I create this to post on my channel before I leave, because in life, you are only as good as your word. This is a relevant question if you clicked on this video months later. And I hope you clicked on this video and were part of this solo event, because we have this amazing Gamma Galore spin event, which I've already clocked up a cool 1.15 mil on. And eventually, you will get the opportunity with 700,000 spent Gamma to acquire, for the first time ever in a side quest event, a free 5-star generic awakening gem. This item should be revered for so many reasons. This used to be the rarest item in the game. It has now been replaced with, ironically, the 6-star version of this, which we can only see and acquire if you 100% fully explore the Abyss. So, with that being said, it is time to answer the question based on class. What champions are worth using your 5-star generic awakening gem on, and which ones are not? I'm going to try to be fairly fast with this, and so I'm going to do an overview. There are going to be champions that I miss. There are going to be champions that I may not think are the best because I don't use them much, but you use them every day, and you can argue for them, and that's what the comment section is all about. But I'm also going to try, when applicable, to say not only do they need to be awakened, there are 3 puzzles to this piece. Acquiring the champion is arguably the most important puzzle, part of the puzzle. You can't get anything past a champion you don't own. The second part is awakening them, and the third part is putting 6 stones into them or naturally duplicating them for 6. In terms of science, I think the answer is pretty freaking clear. Who deserves the generic awakening gem the most? Captain America Infinity War and Void. And yes, they are triple puzzle piece champions, meaning you need to use the gem on them, and then hopefully, if you have the funds or the units on Cyber Weekend, gain more 6 stones to put into them to take them to as high a sig as possible. Some honorable mentions. I've known people who've awakened with the generic Human Torch. Don't regret it at all. Did that with Luke Cage with his extra ability, though I don't think Luke Cage's sig really matters that much. Are there other honorable mentions? Sure. I think I've seen people this month do this for the dad bod and said that they are thankful they did. I generally am so used to getting class-based gems for science that it's hard to imagine using a generic, but if that's you and you're going to use the champion every day, go for it. I also have to say this caveat, this disclaimer. If you're going to use the champion every day and you love the champion and you know that you want to awaken them, then do it. Take it with a grain of salt. But this is about having fun. This is a mobile game at the end of the day. So if you love a champion, the only problem is if you love a champion and you use that rare item and then you don't use them every day, I feel that's a waste. So it's all about how much you'll actually use the champion. All right, we're going to jump to the skill class, where I also think the answer is pretty obvious for this class. The top 2 choices are Nick Fury, who does not need to be a triple puzzle piece champion. If you take him to Sig 1 and awaken him, he immediately gets his quote-unquote real Nick Fury status. So keep that in mind. And then, yes, all the way down here, because I have the 6-star, I have taken to just rank 1, the awakened version of Aegon. This is certainly a triple puzzle piece champion. You want to throw a bunch of 6 stones into him if you awaken him. And then the honorable mention for this class, as I go pretty fast, is Blade. Blade is still the only champion that can convert power to regeneration, and the better the sig, the more the regen. So as somebody that runs a full suicide setup and still uses Blade quite often, it's very important to have his awakened ability. All right, we are going to jump to the Mutant class. Now, fun fact, years ago when I got my first generic awakening gem, I actually used it on Iceman, and I did not regret it. Now, since then, we have so many better mutants in the game in terms of damage output. I still think Iceman is a great champion, and I love using him. But if you compare Iceman's utility to Omega Red's, it's a joke. Omega Red is not only a triple puzzle piece champion for that generic awakening gem, though. He also is somebody that needs Suicide Masteries to be turned on to be ultimately effective. So keep that in mind. Colossus is an honorable mention, though he does not need to be awakened. Archangel takes the second spot in my book for somebody that the generic awakening gem can and should be used on. From there, if you want to throw in the Sunspot, I don't think he needs it, but some people have told me they really enjoy his awakened ability once they have it. Red Mags, same thing. You can do crazy damage with an unawakened Red Mags, but if you're going to use him every day, why not? Domino does not need it. X-23 does not need it. Wolverine does need it, so if you pull him out of a featured 5-star crystal this month, just know that he needs to have higher SIGs. And then scrolling all the way down, maybe some people will now say Gambit, but how many people are generally using Gambit every day? Not much, unless maybe you have a 6-star to rank 3 or rank 2. Storm P90X I don't think needs to be awakened. At least that's what my Battle Realm bestie told me. Apocalypse, Professor X, what do y'all think that have him? You can see I don't, so I'm going to defer to your expertise. And of course, Weapon X, almost no one has. The final honorable mention to this is Namor. He still definitely needs to be awakened and ideally at a high SIG as possible. But I don't know if I would awaken him before Archangel or Omega Red. Just a personal preference. I would awaken him before Iceman, though. So that's what we're doing with that class. Moving on. I used my second generic awakening gem on Corvus. And I had a lot of people in the comments say, that's stupid. You shouldn't do that. And I get that perspective, but at the same time, it was not dumb. It was very smart, and I ended up being so thankful that I did that because his awakened ability has saved me in so many instances from general questing to absolutely the toughest alliance quest fights, particularly the mini bosses and final boss. So I'll put Corvus on that list, absolutely. From there, Medusa definitely benefits on defense, but I wouldn't say she needs a generic, that's for sure. Hyperion doesn't either, though I love his awakened ability just to make him even better. Captain Sparkles might be number 2 on my list, especially for offense. And then from there, you scroll down, you see who you missed. I know people this month who have used their generic on Cosmic Ghost Rider if they are blessed and lucky enough to have the 5-star. If you're going to use him every day, go for it. I know it sounds like a broken record, but it is true. But please don't waste or burn that gem if you're just going to have them mostly sit on your bench. Let's go to the tech class. I know he gets overlooked now, but Star-Lord, if you're going to take him up and have him be a huge content killer, still deserves a generic awakening gem in my book, and I am not backing down from that stance. I also think that Ghost and Stark Spidey, though they don't need to be awakened, they really do get much better when you awaken them. And if you're good with Ghost and you have all these tech champs and everything is equal, I'd put Ghost up before anybody else because you're just going to be able to long-term clear so much more content with so much more utility than anybody else in this class. Obviously, if you've got OG Vision, which most people either have had for a while or maybe don't yet because it's such a high purchase price when that offer comes around once or twice a year, you're going to need him to be awakened in a high SIG. But at this point, do I use my OG Vision? I haven't used him in over a year, so I'm just being honest about where my roster sets. Warlock, I don't think you need the generic. Same with Guardian, same with Guillotine 2099. I'm sure some people might disagree. Just personal preference. And then scrolling down, let's not even talk about Wang. Oh, man. Talk about a guy that needs a buff. All right, last class. Now, some could make an argument that nobody in this class absolutely needs a generic, but I'm going to talk about 2 champions that I think really do benefit greatly from it. Magic, who the Kabam designers have never done a better job on than Magic, because let's be real, she's one of the oldest champions in the game, and she still has incredible utility. That means she was designed with perfection. Shout out to Kabam for that. And then I know right now, at the time of this recording, it's incredibly difficult to get her, but Scarlet Witch, Awakened, and High Sig has been a revelation as a 5-star. There have been times, especially in Incursions, where she has looked like the nostalgic pre-patch 12.0 Scarlet Witch for me, especially when you add in those hacks. So from there, Black Widow Clairvoyant, if you're going to use her every day and you do it, I'm not going to hold it against you, but she doesn't need it. Ghost Rider doesn't need it. Heck, if you put it in Morningstar and use her every day, I get that. But most Mystic champs just don't need to be awakened, and that is awesome because their utility is not tied to their awakened ability. So last time I recorded this video, it was about 15 minutes long, and I felt like that was me rambling too much, so I wanted to keep this closer to 10 minutes, which is where we're at. So yes, it's longer than usual, but hopefully I still went pretty fast. Thank you to everybody who has supported me making this, because I know it's been 8 days of patience, but hopefully that patience is rewarded today. Who do you think deserves an Awakening generic that maybe you've used one on and the average content creator isn't going to talk about, but you absolutely think should be considered? I'm looking at Dr. Voodoo now, and I'm thinking that probably some people awakened him with the gem and were happy with it. I get that. Either way, comment below, let me know. Let's end this video here, and thanks as always for watching this video and showing your support for my Marvel Casino of Champions YouTube channel.